Today, I'm going to share with you the story of the Seven Sisters. This is a story about a special constellation, a constellation that many different cultures observe. Some people refer to it as the Pleiades, but many tribal families, they call it the Seven Sisters as we do, the Gabrielino Tongva people. To share our story of how the people, the Tarahatam, came to be, I need to take you back in time. Life was abundant in many forms that are no longer physically here today, and others that have evolved into the species we know. When it would be time for the humankind to be introduced, Creator told the beings that we would need much help to survive. Several of those beings agreed to be our helpers. Some went underground, some went to the heavens, some went to the waters, and all around us to help the world transform so food for us would be abundant and the oxygen would be suitable for our lungs. When our early ancestors came to this realm, they were given instructions to be grateful and to live amongst the rock, mineral, water, animal, plant, and tree relatives as a united community. Our ancestors were told it would be our responsibility to care for the nature and live in reciprocity. The people spread out and formed villages large enough to be a community, but small enough so that the lands could support us, and we would never take more than we needed. Food was shared so that everyone in the village had enough. Along with this came a teaching that hunters and fishers were not allowed to keep their own catch. This was to keep people from becoming greedy. Nothing was ever wasted either. Every single bit of an animal or plant that was given was used for food, medicine, tools, instruments, baskets, and even clothing. We held beautiful ceremonies. We would dance and sing and pray and share stories. These ceremonies were to honor the sun, the stars, the moon, the waters, and many other relatives. So this story happens long ago. There are 7 sisters that marry 7 brothers. The women go and they harvest. They harvest plant medicines and materials for their baskets, any kind of food that grows in their region. And likewise, the men go out and they hunt or they fish, and they bring back food also to share. One evening, when the men come home, there is only a single rabbit that they caught. A single rabbit to feed all 14 people. And this happened the next day. And this happened the next day. And the next. So finally, the sisters began to be very suspicious. Why is it that suddenly our men have become bad hunters? But it was always the youngest brother that came with the rabbit. The sisters decided that they would figure out what was going on. So they came up with a plan. They decided that the youngest sister would pretend that she had a toothache, and so she would stay back and not go harvesting the next day. She would have to stay home and take care of her toothache and rest. But really, what she was going to do is watch the men as they went out to hunt. Later, when the men came back, she saw that all 7 brothers actually did have a rabbit, and that 6 of the brothers greedily prepared the rabbits, roasted them, ate them, and buried the bones. And the youngest brother, he held his rabbit and he waited for his wife. Again, there was just one rabbit to prepare. They asked the youngest sister what she had seen. Your husbands are deceivers. They did come back with rabbits. The older sisters were so hurt and so disappointed. So that evening, they look upon the heavens and they pray and they ask Creator, what can we do? And suddenly, Creator lets them know that if they create a raft, He will pull them up into the heavens and allow them to reside as beautiful stars. And that's what the sisters do. And up, up, up it goes into the night sky. But when the sisters do not come home, the youngest brother gets very worried. And so day after day after day, in the evening hours, he searches for them. One day, the youngest sister begs her older sisters to take pity upon her husband, to bring him up into the night sky, to be with them. So they ask Creator if they can bring him up, and he agrees. And he is the constellation of the Great Bull. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this story with you. Again, this is the Gabrieleno Tongva story of the Seven Sisters.